which is this book says that it's electronic commerce. We're going to touch on a little bit more than that. Okay. Right. So these are some of the chapters that we will cover. So altogether about 15 chapters. So hopefully today we will cover about 1.5 or let's say 1 chapters. We'll see how. So we'll basically be covering an overview of electronic commerce. So nothing new here. And we'll also be touching on some of the infrastructure. And very important, why electronic commerce has come to this is because there are a lot of technologies that's very mature. And there are a lot of technologies that is actually made available, not just the wireless technologies, but also the cost. The cost itself has actually went down tremendously, right? All the way from GSM phone, okay, the 2.5G, okay, 3G, and now we are now like 4G, right? And then very soon you're going to expect the 5th generation, the 5G. That's where the cost will actually even be greater. Okay, the cost of using is actually very low. Okay, and we need to have the cost to come down. Otherwise, not many people will be using the internet. Okay, and it's like I say, it's only these few years that we have a very good bandwidth, and not only that, it's cheap, right? So nowadays you can easily pay for like $10 for 50 gig data plan. Okay, that is good, and that gives us the liberty to basically serve the internet and maximize the internet and optimize a lot of usage on the cloud technologies. Okay, so these are some of the things that we'll be touching, and we'll also be looking at the applications. Okay, no point having all the infrastructure where there is no software. Okay, the software does play an important role in this electronic commerce. The software itself. A lot of times, mobile phone, we can have all the handphones. Okay, we can all the hardware and the very amazing camera, but if we don't have the software, okay, it's just not going to make it, right? And some more, this software is readily available and for us to download. And we have been downloading a lot of this electronic commerce software or productivity software. So software itself, the IT, okay, does play an important role, not just the application, but also the various very mature technologies such as the voice recognitions, your facial recognition, your fingerprint authentications. All these are all in the form of the program. Okay, and we will be looking at some of this social commerce, okay, which is also part of the emerging e-commerce platform that has been merging into the commerce itself. So no longer we are just talking about electronic commerce. In fact, we will also be touching tremendously on the mobile commerce, the m-commerce, right? So you're not just going to just hear about e-commerce, m-commerce, and there's a lot of other commerce coming in. So a lot of us are basically now going online to buy things using handphones instead of the laptop. Okay, you'll find that a lot of the commerce transactions are done using handphone. Nowadays, we what? Pay each other, we pay now each other, right? These are all transactions, payment, that involve commerce, right? Involve transactions. So we also be looking at a lot of other supporting services. And with all these payments that's going on, we have to pay a lot of attention into these securities, right? Privacy issues and fraudulent and false information. So we will also be touching on those things, as well as the importance of payment gateway, right? To ensure that all these digital money are not like invented somewhere or being produced, right? You can't be having money that is printed, right? Counterfeit money. More so for a digital coin, okay? So that's why you need a very good security infrastructures to be in place to ensure that money is not anyhow created, okay, from the air, right? So we have to make sure that money, okay, has to be protected properly. The integrity of the transactions has to be well kept. Okay? And we also be talking a lot on the other strategies and how we can actually go into e-commerce globalizations. In fact, I would also strongly encourage you guys that while you are studying, yeah, you should go and try some selling online. At least must try carousel, right? At least must actually go on the carousel and sell something, right? You must at least sell something online so that you get the experience. I'm sure it's not an issue for most of you guys. Okay, so if you've not done so, you've not done anything, well, go get a feel of it. So we'll touch on that. Right. So moving on, we are going to talk about e-business. Okay. So so much so for electronic commerce. We heard so much about that, but e-commerce is just a subset of what we are going to study. Right. We're going to cover a lot more. So e-commerce is just a small portion of e-business. E-business will encompass at least a small portion of the e-commerce, but it will also cover a lot of other business operations. You find that nowadays any company, they will have a digital presence, they will have an e-presence on the internet, right? They will have some kind of work processes that is being digitized. Okay, for example, invoice. Okay, invoice, delivery orders are all digitized. They're all in electronic form. Nowadays, credit card bill payment, right? Used to be what letters sent to us, then we see what are the credit card bills that we need to pay. But nowadays, they all went paperless. They all want to go green, okay, and they want to save costs. So everything is all electronic, right? So we need to take a look at how all these e-applications has come on board in all companies, right? All companies will have an online presence, they will have an email, they will have a kind of a collaboration with their business partner, right? So you'll find that a lot of the business are actually connected. A lot of the partners are actually connected, right, through e-way, right? So invoice can be sent over, delivery over can be electronically being sent over through email, through electronic data exchange, etc. So a lot of e-transaction actually going on right now. Okay, as I mentioned, okay, since year 2000, I have already been exposed, okay, to some of these electronic commerce solutions, and one of them is happened to be this Intershop. Okay, so this is the Intershop. Okay, let's just check whether the link is on. Okay, come at the link. Right, so far so good. I hope you guys can hear me. I don't want to be one of those lecturers, okay, that happened last year or the following years, okay, where the lectures are conducted 2 hours lectures, and then at the end the students say that they couldn't hear him, cannot see his lecture notes. Okay, so I hope so far so good, very good. Do let me know, okay, that you can't hear me. So Intershop, this is one of the my first experience on electronic commerce. Okay, and they have actually grown a lot. Okay, so I used to teach students, okay, using this platform on how to set up an e-commerce store, right? So there are a lot of e-commerce platforms that's actually available. This is just one of them, and we actually use this to set up e-store, okay, very quickly. But they, like I say, they have actually grown, and they have actually grown to B2B, right? So much so that it's no longer just B2C solution, business to consumer solutions that they are offering, but they are also going into the B2B. I'm sure you heard about business to business, right? This is when between conduct of electronic commerce between companies, big companies or small companies. People are actually doing that, okay, to save costs. Not only that, it's also to make your productivity increase, right? More efficient and more effective. So all companies will have to stand up, and they will all have to be linked up. Okay, so this is all very pervasive, and all of us should be involved in this digital commerce, right? So it's everywhere, right? You can't run away from it. You can't. Yes. So let me see. And I think maybe there's, yeah, okay, let's check out this YouTube. Okay, I don't want you guys to keep hearing me. It's going to be very boring. Sometimes I speak all the way, it can be very boring. So let me know if you can.
Digitalization means a lot of challenges for wholesalers. Customers want to order even faster, cheaper, and more comfortably. And a direct contact of manufacturers and end customers becomes simpler and simpler. Therefore, in order to stay competitive, wholesalers need a B2B shop commerce solution. Many of their competitors already have such solutions in place and sell digitally. Intershop will develop the right solution also for you, so that digital challenges become an opportunity. As experts for wholesale B2B solutions, we take care of an effective start of your online shop and make sure that it succeeds long term. You decide which tasks we can handle for you, from conception to implementation, to the connecting to your merchandise management system, and the support up to the complete running of the shop. Thanks to our efficient commerce solutions, we will take care of significantly decreased process costs, while we increase the efficiency of your complex order management system. We reduce at the same time sales costs and cost of customer contact, thus increasing the margin of your business long term. We maximize the mobility and decision-making capabilities of your sales force, and thus allow to open new markets and customer groups, even those which so far haven't been profitable. More than 25 wholesalers, from global player to ambitious small medium-sized companies, already trust in our competence. Start your digital success story with us. www.intershop.com/wholesale.
Right. So the company is actually called Intershop. Right. So if you're interested, you can join the company, or
through my online store alone, we've sold.
Okay. Commercial product. So, right. So that's one software tools that you can recommend. Okay. So it's actually good. In fact, okay, I remember this software is because I'm actually uses this software, and I actually uses because of my knowledge about this software that actually got me a new job. Okay, I won't say which job. So that was that time, 2000. Okay, so when I venture into another job, okay, and they actually employ me because of my knowledge of this electronic commerce, and further on, my ability to basically know how to use this software is actually also a game changer, okay, at that time for me. So it's always good to be exposed, okay, on some of the electronic commerce tools, right? Just like when you are being taught about electronic commerce, next time you go for interview, okay, you might know, can you recommend some electronic commerce tools, okay, especially B2B. Okay? Nowadays, you don't develop software. Okay, everything, a lot of the softwares are actually well built. Okay, it's all about combining all these tools together and make it simple for people to use. People are now thinking more on the business logic than to develop the software itself. Okay, just like I used to teach students about programming, okay, on how to program registration, login. But nowadays you don't do that kind of things anymore. Right? You don't go and program another new chatbot. You don't go and create another new, develop another program doing what? Shopping carts. No, nowadays there are so many web development tools out there, right? Such as the Wix.com, okay, the WordPress. A lot of them have already got the shopping cart. They already have integration with the payment gateway, such as the Next Payment, okay, the PayLah, PayNow. All these are all QR code payment. Why do you need another credit card or PayPal, right? So you don't have to go and develop all this software. It's all a matter about integrating, getting the right tools, okay, to put in together to provide a tools, a solution that you require, right? Especially when people are now talking about collaborations, right? The more you need to have a standard kind of protocol to exchange electronic documents. Okay, so that is something very important, right? So later on in the assignment, okay, especially your assignment 1, right? You're going to touch on the e-business operation, which is more than just, like I say, more than just e-commerce. E-commerce only concerns about payment, okay, the commerce side of it. But you must understand, in any business operation, it encompasses also other things, such as maintenance, such as procurement, requests for quotations. Okay, there's always purchase orders, there's always quotation, there's always the invoicing. So this, it's not so much of a commerce, but it's on the e-business side. Okay, so there's also the inventory control module where you need to stock up your information, stock up your inventories. So this is something that you will have to elaborate further in your assignment, K1, okay, which is part of your group assignment. And there are also payroll, salary that you need to pay, right? So don't always think that that we're in this module, we only talk about selling things online. Okay, we're going to touch more than just selling things online. We also want to talk about what are the various enterprise. Okay, some of you might have heard about the ERP system, the SAP system. In fact, for the last 2-3 rounds, okay, we actually have a practical on SAP. Okay, and it was given by University of Wollongong. Then we actually have the lab, but now recently they just took it up because the SAP system is too expensive, right? And I actually don't really like that SAP system. It's just too tedious and complex. But anyway, it's just to give a few, get the students a few of what is an enterprise resource planning system, right? Which encompass the HR operations, the inventory modules, the payroll module, which is essentially part of any companies. You need to pay your employees, right? The employees need to take leave. The employees need to submit for reimbursement, okay, for payments. These are part of the business operation, including recruiting, right? Including budgeting, including authorizations for expenditure, which is the AFE module, right? So we talk about budgeting, we talk about, there's a lot of things. These are basically like part of the e-business operation. Any business operation that is being digitized, that is being converted to electronic form. Okay, everything now is all online. There's an application, there's an intranet application that allows you to use it. Everything is paperless. Basically, like I say, everything is paperless, right? You apply your leave, right? You also, I mean, some of you have worked, okay, most of you maybe have not yet, okay? So at least for the part-time students, most of them, they are exposed to some of this workflow, okay, work process flow, right? So including some of this account payable module, which is actually the AP modules. By the way, some of the slides are extra one, I value add. Okay, so whatever lecture notes that you have, okay, that you download from the Moodle, those are the basic one. In fact, those are actually from UOW, but UOW actually kind of also get it from the textbook, which is why all the slides that you have is actually extract from the digital books that you just seen earlier, right? It's actually from the author itself. Okay, but I value add a few things, right? So, but this will be a part of the block diagram that you need to elaborate in your assignment 1, okay, as part of the group assignment. And nowadays, you'll find that in a lot of the company business operation, that also encompass a lot of reporting, budgeting reporting, finance reporting, right? Financial and accounting, generating the profit and loss statements, right? Generating the income statements, etc. So there are a lot of generating tools that's actually available, right? Which I also sometimes teach about Power BI, okay, Microsoft Power BI, Microsoft Excel, right? And you use various analytic tools such as the Taboo, right? Such as the K9, okay, software tools that's actually available to analyze your competitive information as well as the consumer, right, behavior, right? So there are a lot of tools, there are a lot of reports that need to be generated. All this is all done by computers, right? Computer program, okay, written specially. Right, so here we're going to define a few things. Okay, one of them is, of course, you heard about pure e-commerce and partial e-commerce, right? So, like I said, this particular module is seriously very technical, okay, theoretical, basically theoretical. So we basically want to have a very clear cut on what we are describing. So when we say a pure e-commerce, right? When we say a pure e-commerce means they don't have a physical presence. They don't have a brick and mortar presence, right? Means they don't have a physical shop. Everything is just pure online business, right? I'm sure you can name a few. Example of a pure online business are what? like Yahoo, Google, right? So you don't see a Google shop, you don't see a Yahoo shop. They are essentially their main business is actually online, right? Or right, so really the partial, of course, it has a mix of online as well as the offline business, right? So that is the physical store as well as the online presence. And nowadays got a very good mix of this partial e-commerce, such as the NTUC Fair Price. Okay, so the NTUC, they have physical what shopping mall. Okay, they have a supermarket, right? And yet at the same time they have a online presence as well, where you can make what ordering, okay, online. You can make payment online. You can actually track order fulfillment. Order fulfillments are usually referring to about logistics tracking, right? So that you can track the last mile delivery, whether the order has been delivered, has been sent out, okay, etc. And it also involves delivery, okay, to the customers, right? So example also OSIM, right? If you look at OSIMs, they sell massage chair, but they also have an online presence. Okay, they also, you are able to buy, okay, massage chairs like OSIM from Taobao, okay, which is also one of the e-marketplaces, a popular e-marketplaces, right? I'm sure some of you will know. We'll talk more about this electronic market. It's a very important segment, okay, of these modules as well, right? If you look at the whole e-commerce, right, these are the framework, okay, that they have to be in place. Okay, without this framework in place, then there will not be an electronic commerce, right? So it's very difficult to form. Okay, so you want to have electronic transaction, there must be some proper methodology, there must be some of this infrastructure that must exist in place. Otherwise, nobody is going to honor. Just like you buy something online and you make the payment, then nobody want to honor your payment, okay, and they fail to deliver it, then that can be a very big issue, right? So there must be a trust. Okay, so this framework is important so that it can form a trust, okay, a security in place. So there are a lot of these things over here, okay, and don't worry, okay, so far the exam question don't come out from here. I mean, don't ask you to don't go and draw this diagram. So don't worry about drawing this diagram, right? But there might be some something that might dwell into some of that. For example, can you list some of the public policies? Well, then you can talk about the various taxes, taxations, legal policies, private issues. Now, these are something, all the things, okay, basically the law and regulation that encompass electronic commerce, right? To ensure that there must be some compliance, and there must be some regulations. For example, right, public policies, right? So like, for example, if you want to open an online banking, right? For example, this online banking, okay, it's also part of electronic commerce, right? Basically, you have transaction online, right? So in order to have an online banking, you must have the MAS, okay, Monetary Authority of Singapore, will dictate that you need to implement a second factor authentication, something more and above than just simple login, okay, and password, right? They need you to implement a second level, which you have encountered before, right? They will give you, after you log into e-banking, you will be asked for a one-time password, or you will be authenticate using another biometric, okay, authentications, right? Such as using your fingerprint or using your pattern recognitions or your facial recognitions, etc. Right? So it must be having just more than just one factors authentication, right? So that's why there's called the second factors, right? So who ensure that all the e-banking like DBS, OCBC to implement all this? That is only the government, right? Which is coming from the Ministry, Monetary Authority of Singapore. So there's the regulator to formulate all these policies. So you need this policy to be in place. Otherwise, e-banking will never happen. Then, of course, the most important one is if you need to have all this e-commerce, naturally, you need to have all the people, right? The people who buy, the buyer, the seller, the intermediaries. We'll talk more about intermediaries later. And you will also be talking about the marketing, the various marketing promotion, collateral, such as the EDM, okay, where you need to come out with some electronic brochures, right, to market. You need to engage influencer to do social media marketing, etc. And you also need supporting services. Okay, these are all important pillars, such as fulfillment. Okay, you buy things online. The most important things is you must be able to deliver your goods fast and furious, right? You know the shows that Fast and Furious. So you must be able to deliver the things. Okay, you must be able to fulfill. When somebody buys something online, the thing that makes the differences is not just the user interface, but also the delivery time. Right? If I were to buy something and take on like 1 month to deliver, okay, and when I have another competitors that allows me to buy something online and I can get immediate delivery, hey, you're going to lose the business, right? So your logistics, your delivery must be fast and furious. So the supportive services are important, okay, such as also the payment and also the tracking of your parcel. These are all assurance that you can provide. Okay, so opening an electronic commerce is not so straightforward, right? You need all these pillars to be in place, as well as even the business partners, the various partners, okay, the counterparts that you need to work hand in hand with, especially your supplier, okay, your vendor. You must make sure that they can support you well, right? If you run low in inventories, okay, something is selling very well on your website, but then if your suppliers are not be able to keep up with the demand, then you're going to lose your businesses, right? And you got to work with dealers, local dealers, right? Sometimes to help you to sell your stuff, okay? Because you might not be able to do it all on yourself, right? By yourself. So in electronic commerce, later on, we'll also be talking a lot on the various applications, such as the e-government. Okay, government is one of the biggest users of electronic commerce, so we cannot run away with that, right? The e-governments, especially in Singapore, they are very much into this smart initiative of digitizations. Okay, everything go online. Everything is digitized. Look at the kind of medical system that you have. We have this health hub, right? We have the SingPass, okay, the login. We have got the CPF, okay, it's all online, all electronic. We have even the e-learning, it's skill futures, it's also online. Everything. Next time you go to pay, next time when you start working, you have to pay, okay, your income tax. Everything is online. Taxation filing, tax filing is all online, right? This is going to be beginning of the year, and we have to very soon got to file our income tax. Okay, we have to go online to do. So there are a lot of e-government applications, okay, as well as a lot of B2B. These are both are very important big segment, okay, on contribution to these electronic commerce applications, right? And of course, here got what? What got m-commerce, right? I hope you know what's m-commerce, right? We just touched about the m-commerce, mobile commerce, right? We talk about electronic commerce. Then you can see what is this c-commerce. Anyone know what's a c-commerce? Right? Of course, you can have a s-commerce. Anyone know what's a c-commerce? You guys still with me? Well, if you know the answer, you can put it in the chat. Let me see. I guess no idea. And you're going to hear a lot of this kind of funny jargon later on. Okay, so we have heard about e-commerce, China commerce. Well, that's an interesting guess. Yes, it's a collaborative commerce. Yes, very good, Junming. Okay, it's collaborative commerce. They're coming out with a lot of all kinds of jargon. Okay, all kinds of jargon. I was seeing that collaborative commerce, this is more like companies and company partners, they collaborate, right, to be able to work together, right? So this is also part of the very interesting, and of course you have the social commerce, etc. And I remember just now there's actually an internet intershop, right? Intershop, where's the intershop thing? Let me see. Let me just give me a minute. Yeah, we'll talk about how to basically maybe earn some money instead of spending money on Shopee, right? On Carousel, you should start learning about setting up business online. Okay, I was very interestingly that I see that nowadays people like to use a lot of this jargon. So they have got the B2B, they got the B2X. You can see there's a B2B, we know business to business. Then we have the business to consumer. And then this joker company called the Intershop, they also come out with B2X. Okay, anyone know what's B2X? So I was actually referring, it was quite new to me. Right? How come still got B2X? Actually, it was referring to B2B. Okay, and it's not X for extra. I think it's a B2. They basically refer to B2B to C, right? Basically, it's a combination of B2B and B2C. So nowadays, you find that business is not just doing with business only, but also doing with consumer, right? A very good example is like the AliExpress. Okay, I go to AliExpress quite often. Okay, so AliExpress. Oh yeah, this one is later on I need to use. You go to AliExpress, basically they do a lot more than AliExpress. It's also part of the Alibaba, right? Some of you have heard about this Alibaba, right? So it's also another e-marketplace, such as the Taobao, Tmall. They got lots of it. So AliExpress, they not only serve the consumers, the individual consumers, you can also go there to buy lots of things. Okay, even business dealing with partners, business partner, potential business partners, and they sell things in bulk, in really big bulks of things, right? So so you can go there, look for audio, all kinds of, even solar panel, everybody going to the panels. Okay, so they ship from different places, right? And they also do a lot of bulk purchases, right? So, and you can see all this infrastructure is nowadays when you set out e-commerce, it's no longer just a simple shopping cart will do. You also need to have a protection for money guarantee back. Okay, you must also have kind of what we later on we'll talk about escrow payment. Okay, escrow payment, just like Carol Pay. Nowadays, a lot of things that you pay, even on Shopee. Okay, the money that you pay actually stay on with the e-marketplace. Okay, if you use Carousel, then you will stay on with the Carousel, right? They will hold the money before they give it to the supplier. So the supplier will have to ensure that they actually ship the order to you and you got it, okay, before they release. So they release the payment. So in a way, they actually held on to the money that you pay as a escrow, right? As a protection. Only when you receive the good and you're satisfied with the goods, okay, then they release the payment, okay, to the merchant, right? So in a way, it's a kind of a protection for you, right? So the moment you never receive the goods, okay, or overdue, have not reached you, you can immediately ask for a refund. Okay, you can go to Shopee. A lot of the e-marketplaces actually adopt that kind of policies. Okay, so buyers are more willing to go to, with this kind of protection, you find that buyers are more willing to buy things on your platform. Okay, so it's something that is very common. Okay, you cannot have an e-marketplace that doesn't offer this kind of a payment guarantee, right? Or ask for policy refund. Okay, so you can get it very easily. So very important. So basically B2B, B2C. So you can have a website that basically dealing with business partners as well as commercial individual as well, right? So you'll find that there's a lot of other supporting devices or services underneath. Now this is where we talk a little bit more technical. Later on, we'll talk about the different web platform, Web 1.0, Web 2.0, and Web 3.0, and also the electronic payment, the various electronic payment. Okay, you have to make sure that even your e-commerce must accept all kinds of payment, you know, right? Nowadays, last time, there's so many payment in Singapore, right? Singapore alone got what? Samsung Pay lah, OCBC, Pay Now, PayLah, all kind of payments until very confused, right? Unlike in the China, they only have two very popular ones, which is the Alipay or the WeChat Pay. It's so straightforward. Right? It's only recently then they try to group them together. At one point, they even talk about net payment, right? Net pay to integrate the whole debit card payment, okay, from the various banks to come, right? So it's really ridiculous. Can you imagine? Ridiculous to have a QR code payment that there's so many QR code payment placed on the merchant side, okay, to let people scan, right? So this is really ridiculous. Okay, so there are a lot of infrastructures. We're also going to talk about the various infrastructures, okay, where how do you support the internet? You need to have Wi-Fi, you need to have WiMAX, you need to have a 3G, 4G, and like I said, the big bang is actually the 5G. Okay, wait till you hear from the 5Gs. Okay, when they launch the 5G, you'll see there will be a lot of smart devices. Okay, and these will come in as a storm. Okay, and all of us will basically embrace this kind of smart technologies, where we call the IoT devices, the Internet of Things. Okay, so there are more to come on this. So the framework will include people, public policy, marketing, advertisements, supporting business partners as well, right? And this is going to be just crazy. You see, there's a lot of jargon. Now we heard about B2B, B2C, B2X. Just now we talk about B2X. So B2X is actually referring to business to consumers, right? And also C to business, right? And B2E. These are new. Some of you might not know. Business to employees. Okay, so new jargon, business to employees. What's that? What's that? Anyone know what's business to employee? So it's like also the staff. Okay, staff or employee, you want to buy something. For example, you might be working in HP, right? You might have a staff discount. Okay, when you want to buy laptop or buy desktop from HP, or you're from IBM. So there's also the business transaction between the employees as well. Okay, so that is also the B2E system, right? And of course, C2C. Anyone know what's a C2C? Consumer to consumer. Any examples? Yeah, some kind of trading. Yes, exactly. Carousel, right? Carousel will be a good example, where is most of the carousel is also consumer to consumer, which is when we say consumers is individuals. They don't have the business, right? They don't have the business. Well, whether it's second hand or first hand, doesn't matter. As long as it's, yeah, there's also the stream markets, but basically these are people who develop their own games, right? And then of course, just now we saw the C, collaborative, okay, and also the e-government. Okay, one more. Have you heard about O2O? Anyone know what's O2O? O2O, that's a B2B, B2C, okay, B2E. It's not stand for organizations or somebody getting very close. Online to online. It can't be online to online. Yes, Jonathan, you got it correct. It's online to offline, right? In fact, this was introduced to me by one of my friends who's actually setting up this online to offline. Actually, O2O. It's not online to online. It can be online to offline and offline to online. Okay, so I hope you get. Yeah, there's only a lot of buzzwords that people are coming up with, right? But basically, online to offline means what? They bring their business, which is like, for example of online to offline are like, for example, Dell machines. You know, Dell machines, computer Dell machines, they don't have a physical store. You don't see any physical store. Now, last time in Funan Center, you can go see computer stores, a lot of computer stores there. Right? You have the Sony, you got the HP, but you don't see Dell. They don't have a physical storefront. Okay, so their selling technique is basically what? Direct selling. They sell directly to their consumers. You want your Dell machine, you personalize, and then they fix it up. Okay, and they sell you directly online. Okay, that is an online business. But then they also start to move to offline, which means that they don't go online. They also have a physical storefront. So these are companies that have an online presence. Then they move it to offline. Then there's also the O2O, which is also offline to online. Example, just now I mentioned OSIM. OSIM is a massage chair, Singapore famous brand for massaging chairs, right? So they have a physical storefront, and they also want to go on the internet. So this is where my friend actually set up a company to help companies to go from online to offline to online stores. Okay, such as hardware shops, right? You see a lot of hardware shops such as the 5金店, those people in the HDB, the mama shop, okay, the mama shop, okay, selling all those all kinds of tools or even tidbits. They help them to go online. Okay, just like recently, okay, the COVID, right? Some of the hawkers, they're having hawkers, right? They sell hawker food. Right? They are basically essentially offline business. But in the time of lockdown, what happened? You need people to help them to bring their business to online so that people can order their food delivery. That is where the offline go online. And that is my friend, okay, who actually set up this business to help people to go from O to O, online to offline, or offline to online, whether vice versa. Okay, so it's actually pretty interesting. Okay, so there you have all kinds of jargons coming up, and in fact, this is one of the, I mean, an overall diagram. Okay, and sometimes O2O is just a buzzword. Okay, it's just to tell people that it's this kind of business. They tell people these are like business jargon. Okay, like B2B. And then they talk about O2O. They provide the O2O solutions. Okay, that's where, like I tell you, my this friend of mine actually set up a software house to help, okay, some of these shops, or even like I say, the hawkers, okay, to go into online businesses. Okay, just like last time, okay, one bank, okay, they also employ some of this software integration house to get the small medium enterprise, okay, where they could be selling pipes, okay, they could be selling screws and nuts, but they are all hardware, but they never have an online presence. So we actually help them to convert their business from offline and make it available, okay, on the online store where people can order, just like just now I mentioned, a hawker selling things online as well. Okay, selling some of their cakes online, their cookings online, etc. Right? So you can see there are all these integrations, right? B2B, business to business. These are called intra-business. Then there's also the business to employees. This is where what? Like I say, the HP, IBM, they can also sell things to their staff, isn't it? They can also sell things to their employees. So this is where you have the business to employee as staff price. Okay, it can be anything, right? It can also be hotel, right? If you're in the hotel businesses, well, you can be also selling some of the hotel accommodations in other countries, okay, to your employees as a staff price. And even government, okay, there is also the G2G, right? So these are testable, no? These are exam that could come out. Now, sometimes I ask questions such as what? Can you name me, okay, an example of a G2G? Anyone? Can you give me an example of G2G? So G2G is what? Government to government. So what kind of any scenario? Yeah, it could be Malaysia selling water to Singapore, and then they do some transactions over. Okay, yes. Okay, it could also be, yes, very good. Okay, SAF buying, MINDEF buying a US weapon. Okay, what somebody say F-35. Okay, so these are government to government, and they pay. Now it's all electronic payment. Even ministry, manpower, Ministry of Manpower could be engaging the service of Ministry of Finance or Ministry of Health. Okay, and this they will have payment, right? Even like the various institutes, right? These are government entity that's going on, right? Example also, your, like I say, some of you also mentioned about the let's say the SingPass. Okay, very good. Okay, these are all government. SingPass, it could be what, MDA. Okay, SingPass, I think is now coming under the MDA, right? Media Development Authorities, right? Where they work with the medical health, the CPF. Okay, they provide that government to government, right? Authentications. Okay, to provide authentication both in the even the passport, right? You make passport, you apply for passport, actually now also go onto the government, right? And government also do what? Business dealing with private entity, such as what? The MOE, they buy a lot of laptop, a computer, like recently my daughter, right? They buy iPad, okay? They buy iPad, so the government pay for those iPad for the secondary school students, okay? So where they buy the iPad from HP, from Apple, okay, the iPad, right? So this is what? Government to business or business to government. As well, government also have a business dealing with consumers, such as what? Taxation or the income tax or the LTA. The LTA also fine people for what? For traffic offenses. Okay, you pay fine. Okay, so individual consumer also pay fine. Also electronic commerce, isn't it? Right? You pay fine to LTA. Okay, if you park illegally, etc. So that's where you can see all these start to gel together with all this jargon. Right, what else here? Okay, electronic commerce. And you'll find that electronic commerce has actually gone a long way, right? It has evolved, it has changed a lot, okay? And you can see there are a lot of e-commerce that is being hyping up every day, right? Alibaba, okay, Taobao, they are the first one to come up with this. I mean, they follow the Black Friday, right, which is the US, right? They try to make a reason. They come up with one day special reason for people to buy things online. Okay, so of course, there's a single days, which is actually 11th of November. Then after the singles day, which is actually more for singles, we've got nothing to do, no boyfriend, no girlfriend. So they get them to go online to buy things and please themselves, right? So they come up with this 1111, right? So it's actually it stands for 11th of November. But after that, they start to evolve and have almost every month you have a reason. Okay, so they create a reason for people to buy things, to get people excited about buying things online and the convenience of buying things online, right? So you got the Cyber Monday, you got the Single Day, you got the Black Friday, you got the 9/9. You can see Shopee almost every month. All the repeated numbers, they use it. Okay, the 12/12, Christmas, festive seasons. So they basically come out with all the sales so that they can literally have all sales throughout the years. Okay, throughout the years. And then of course, one more. You heard about e-commerce, m-commerce, c-commerce. Anyone know what's f-commerce? Not the vulgar language, huh? Anyone know what's the f-commerce? Not that I'm scrolling backwards, huh? Anyone know what's this? You guys still there? Yes, Facebook. Yes, very good. Facebook commerce, right? So Facebook commerce, Facebook Live. Everybody going Facebook Live to sell things. Okay. So you have the Hook Girls, S Hook Girl. Yes, there's S Hook Girls in Singapore, right? Some of you might have known her. She was selling these clothes online, okay, using Facebook Live, and become very popular, not because of the ways she sell things. Okay, so there are a lot of this social media. Now, Wang Lei recently also sell things online on TikTok lah. Basically, they use TikTok. Now this got a lot of social media, right? You can basically sell things online, using not just the e-marketplace, not just from your own storefront, but through the social media. And that's where we're going to touch on later on, on social media, how we can actually leverage, Friendsters. You can also go there, befriend, befrienders, and sell things. So the major driver. So what is driving the e-commerce growth, right? You find that there's a lot of e-commerce that's growing, right? And what are the drivers? There are essentially a lot of drivers, that is driving this, forces. First, of course, to the consumers. Okay, this also come out in the exam paper. Exam question could also come out before. Okay, I said it before, right? So, like, what is the drivers for e-commerce? Okay, so you can name a few, like the driver for e-commerce can be coming from the consumers themselves, right? because it's convenience, okay, and it's a fast delivery, okay, quick delivery, and you can find, very important is one places you can find something that is bargainable, right? You can bargain the price, you can negotiate the price, and there's one place that you find that you will not be cheated, right? And you might be able to find peer evaluations, review, right? So these are benefits. That's why e-commerce is driving, not just okay from the consumer, because there are many benefits. So essentially, there are benefits for the consumers to go to shop online, okay, because there are a lot of things that you can find online, very convenient, and it's anytime, any days. There's no like closing hours, right? You want to buy, you can just go Shopee, go Lazada, go Shopify to buy things any time of the days, right? And you can have almost some of them promises quick delivery and free shipping some more. Okay, so there's many benefits. That's why it's driving the e-commerce. Not just the consumers that's driving the e-commerce, but for the organization, they also have benefits, right? For e-commerce to work, there must be advantages for these people. Otherwise, it will never kick off. So what are the advantages that can highlight? Organizations have a very quick global reach to the rest of the world, right? Isn't it? They can reach the world. It's borderless. You can sell things, okay, not just in Singapore. The moment you put something, you sell something like egg tart online, you never know. Then maybe somebody in US also want to order egg tart from you, right? So it's a global reach and it's cheap. Okay, it's a very cheap way to advertise. Then imagine you're going to advertise on TV, it's going to cost a lot. On the radio, it's going to cost, and there's limitation. But if the moment you start to put something online, basically it can reach to the consumer real time and a fast, tremendous speed, right? Even just simply by using emails to broadcast is very, very cheap, right? And you can also improve your supply chain where you can link up with your partners. So you might not even need, okay, to have a big warehouse to stock up your inventories. Okay, later on you will talk about drop shipping, right? Drop shipping. If you don't know what's drop shipping, go and research on it, right? So you can do drop shipping. You don't even have a keep stock on a lot of things, right? Where you can have if you have got a very good link with your supplier, you basically can route the order to your supplier and get the supplier to ship directly to the consumers, okay, without you having to stock up. So business is always open. Same as consumer, they find that you can buy things online all the time. Businesses, they don't need to close their businesses. It's online 24/7, right? Even if, let's say you're writing a storybook or you're selling an e-books, okay, one of the things is the cheapest way to sell is you write a book. Okay, if you don't know how to write a book, just write how to get rich. This kind of book will sure sell one. This kind of book sure sell one. You can write and people will buy. Okay, and sometimes when you're sleeping, there are still people ordering your books online, right? If you can write well. Then benefit to society, there are plentiful also. So there's this telecommunicating, right? Where people can share informations, right? And okay, so and you can offer public services, right? You can improve the standards of living. So there are a lot of reasons for it. And of course, right, the recent one, okay, that is also driving this e-commerce growth is COVID, right? COVID, right? So after COVID, okay, you have got the Delta, right? Then now you have the Omicron, right? Omicron COVID. And then what's after Omicron? Now, yesterday I saw the news is the what? Florida, right? I don't know. Yeah, here, Israel. Can I click the link? Okay, so next one is actually they have another case coming up. Okay, after Omicron will be this Corona, right? This is what's Corona? It's actually a COVID-19 plus influenza. Okay, so now you got another variants coming in, right? So well, we might want to pray that this one will have us continue to work from home, right? And if we were to work from home, then you will not have the closed book exam in the hall. Okay, so it's a 2-3 hours of exam paper, closed book, no internet, which means that this module you must memorize already, you know. Okay, so it can be a killer for some of you, right? So you guys maybe want to pray, okay, for those who can't remember very well. Okay, so the exam, okay, might be very difficult. It's going to be a closed book or held in the exam hall, exam hall with fully invigilators going around and checking that you never copy, right? Or you rather have this exam to be online, do the test at your comfort of your own home, okay, plus your team all around you, okay, helping each other, okay, and it's going to be just very easy. So so like I say, that's why the past few round, wow, so many high distinction or high D for this particular module, right? Even for the other modules that I teach, right? So many of them, you know, I think I give away like 70 to 70 high D, you know, high distinction. Never give so much before, but nevertheless, it's simply crazy to have an open exam. It's not easy to set. Okay, so there are a lot of creative, innovative students. Okay, they can find answer easily. Right, so these are all the various drivers. Okay, so take note, this particular sites that came out a few times on what are the benefits or what are the driven forces that basically propel the growth of electronic commerce. Okay, these are coming from what? Not just from the benefits that is given to the consumers. The consumer can find lots of benefits of going online purchase. Similarly, the organization also find a lot of benefits, okay, on having their business going online, as well as even the community also find that there is a lot of advantages of having business online. Okay, and these are all the driven forces. Okay, and also the government initiative like Singapore, right, is fully supportive and moving on to digital economy as well as the smart initiative, right, that's coming from the government to come up with a smart nations. Right, moving on. Okay, some of you are already talking about the friendsters, no friends. You have no friends, then you can go to virtual and make friends. So that's what a lot of people are doing, right? Going to the e-commerce, okay? Go and play games. Go and form your avatars, okay? If you think that you're not handsome, you're not tall, you're not pretty, then go and create your own virtual being, right? Virtual world, join the world, right? That's what people are doing, and just ridiculous. You see, the recent newspaper just came out, right? The daughter, 18 years daughter, just squandered off, okay, $20,000 from the father, right? Let me just see whether I can get. Okay, by playing this game, Ginseng Impact. Okay, I hope my daughter is not playing this game. Just make sure you don't have a Grab Pay that ties with this game, right? So you find that this is also another virtual games that virtual worlds is actually selling things, right? You can even sell things, digital product, virtual products, okay, by dressing up a person. Okay, so the daughter actually spent, you go and read up this news. It just happened 2-3 days ago, right? In Singapore, some more. Okay, so the children actually spend, I mean, it's not actually a children, teenage, right? The daughter actually go buy some dressing for their avatar so that she can look better, etc. Okay, right? So you guys can go and take a look, right? So this is for real. Okay, so there's a lot of transactions. So you can have a commerce in the virtual world, which is forming your own virtual. You can even sell, okay, you can even sell virtual furnitures. Okay, you can create, later on you will see some of this social virtual world. You can sell furniture, you can create, build your own empire. Okay, imagine you can build your own empire, you can build your own hotel, and then you can rent it out to some of these virtual world like Second Life. Okay, I'm sure you heard about all this. This is where we talk about the second generations, the Web 2.0. We're going to come to that later on, right? Where people maybe feel very low about their real life. Okay, like just now I mentioned, maybe you don't feel rich. Okay, you're just a poor guy, but you want to feel rich. So you go to a virtual world and create yourself as a very rich person, very handsome, tall, handsome, with big houses, big places, and you can actually, there are people who actually sell the virtual furnitures, okay, as big as IKEA, right? So you can buy some of these virtual furnitures and then put it out and place it on your own virtual apartments, etc. So you for all these design or all these extras, you can actually pay them, and there are people who actually create these virtual things, and you can actually buy. That's what happened to some of this game over here, right? So there is a lot of this social commerce. Okay, you can see these are the virtual commerce that's coming up, right? So there are a lot of fantasies over here, right? So you can see the Web 2.0, Web 3.0. Later on, we'll see that's the ginseng impact. So there are a lot of social. There are people who basically human beings are basically they need to find friends. Okay, if they have no friends, they like to join a community. They want to join some social media. In fact, most of us, okay, have a always go to the social media, okay, to occupy our time and to find new friends and people with the same interest group, same culture, same trend, right? And you'll find that there's a place for you, and you will join these virtual communities, right? That's the urge that keep going. That's why sometimes a lot of us keep going back to our Instagram, social medias, okay, to basically socialize. Okay, so that itself can also, if you do it properly, you can also earn a decent living from that. Okay, such as some of the YouTubers, okay, the influencers that they're doing. So companies are actually trying to tap on this social commerce, right, to earn money, right, to earn money. So they will be able to find designer who can come out with all these virtual things that people can buy and sell. And let me just check whether this link or anything.
Tired of cold calling? Introducing Lucia, the easiest, most accurate.
Okay, this talk about this one talk about Web 2.0. We'll show you another video later on. I think that's a better one. So we'll talk about all these web platform later on in a short while. So social customers. Social customer, another word for social customers are digital customers. And most of us are becoming like a digital customers, right? Where we actually do a lot of purchases, not just purchases, but we also share our opinions, okay? Our electronic comments, our electronic reviews online, whether the products and services that we have used before, we will try to feedback, okay, in some of these social networks. So more or less, a lot of us are becoming like a social customers, and we tend to go to this social network, okay, to believe them more. Okay, you'll find that all of us rather believe another customer than to believe a salesperson, because the salesperson will have an agenda. They want to sell things, whether it's good or bad. They just want to sell and earn your commissions, right? But if another customer can comment that your products and the product that you're going to buy is good, or the service is going to be good, you tend to believe them a lot more, right? So another customers will have review, will have a deeper impact, and business companies realize that, and they want to leverage on some of these social customer to help them to spread the words, right? If their products and services are very good, they want this kind of good review to be reflected on their business website. They want to leverage on that. And that is where the Web 2.0 comes in. Okay, the Web 2.0. If we talk about the technologies, the Web 1.0 is basically what? Static. Okay, very boring. In the 90s, when internet start to boom, okay, a lot of the websites are very static information. They are just pure information and very boring. It doesn't change. Okay, so what is that Liao Liao gaming? Okay, so back to this Web 1.0. Oh yeah, in order to just try to put your chat, all these things is all recorded, means your chat, all the nonsense chat is also being recorded. Okay, one of these days I can show you all the chat. So just make sure that you don't write rubbish in your chat. So sometimes I might just review them and see who are the students who are talking nonsense. Okay, so just be aware of that. Okay, whether I have wings or not, or shit, but just make sure that all these will be recorded. Yeah, maybe I should give 0. Okay, those who give very good comments about me, then I'll give more marks. Okay, for participation or for whatever. Okay, anyway, that's jokes aside. So so Web 1.0, like I say, Web 1.0 is basically a very static web. When it comes to Web 2.0, this is the Web 2 versions. This is where the web internet move on to the next level, where we take care of a lot of the people feelings. Okay, not so much on people feeling, but social media. Okay, that's where we use the interactions between the customers. So make it more interesting rather than just having the static information. This is where in Web 2.0, all the social media platforms start to come on board, such as the Facebook, okay, such as the Instagram, such as the Telegram, such as all this, right? They start to come on board. Okay, so that is where the e-commerce become more sociable, right? In a sense, right? More interactive. So you find that Web 2.0, their technologies has moved on. They have embraced interactivities. It's no longer just a passive viewers. It's now more collaborative. So that's why you have the collaborative commerce also coming in. And that's also the virtual world, the second life, and it's actually make it more interesting for people to put review of products. That's where the technologies come in, 2.0. You not only have that, but you also have other social media such as web blog, video casting, live video casting, as well as RSS feed, right? So you'll find that there's also social networking, podcast, music, video, bookkeeping. These are made available through Web 2.0. Right? So that's where people are talking about share economics. At one time, people also talk about this buzzword, about share economy. Right? Now it's also about sharing of review, sharing of feedback, sharing of digital products, okay? Even share technologies, etc. In both apps. So a lot of the technologies are also embracing, okay, and we are using some of these digitizations, not just in the commercial world, but also at home, okay, also in work, right? Later you'll see there's a Facebook Live, Facebook social media, but Facebook also got a Facebook Workplace, where the government actually embraces this Facebook Workplace to ensure that the various ministries come together, right? And they can collaborate. Not only that, the digitalizations is also very impactful on the schools, right? That's why now campus also have this e-learning platform, right? That's where you have the Moodle, okay, to have the lecture notes, the videos are basically uploaded over there, right? Including online quiz, right? And even for entertainment. Okay, so there are many digitized products that can actually sell. Okay, so it doesn't mean that you need to have a physical product to sell things online. You can also have an e-book, you can have an e-magazine, e-games, okay, that you can come up with, or even videos that you can come up with. Right, so a lot of digitalizations is happening, a lot of digital economy. There's a lot of enterprise coming up also. You can see that in Amazon, Google, Facebook, ticket masters, where you can buy cheap tickets online, etc. So organizations can also coming in strong, okay, so that they can engage not just the customer, their employees, their partners, and the suppliers. So you can see that this digital world is very important. It's now is part and parcel in any businesses, right? They use the digital, the internet to engage not only their own staff, their customers, their partners, their suppliers as well, so as to maximize the value and ensuring that the work process is very effective and efficient. Okay, and one very important is real time and is cheap and is impactful, right? So that's why everybody's are embracing this as part of their e-business, right? So changing organizations environments, so everything is changing. Everybody is embracing IT. So IT is now getting tractions. Okay, everybody is embracing IT. Everybody is having a handphones. They are all very well connected to the superhighway, which is the internet. Nowadays, if you don't know anything, just search the internet lah. Last time, everything must remember. Okay, just like now, exam, all open book, open internet. Right? You don't know the answers? Don't worry lah. Got the digital book ma, got the digital textbook ma. Can search. Someone can search so easily, right? Last time I remember when I was in NTU, we have an open book exam, but we really literally bring all the books and you still have to flip. But nowadays, right? Open book exam means what? Wow, you can search the internet. Right? You can search. It's even faster. Okay, even faster with the digital book. Just now, like I said. If I'm going to have an exam, open exam like this, right? Literally, you just need the e-textbook will do, right? And that textbook got the indexes and got the search engine, right? You can just search based on the questions and you will literally find the answers, okay? And then what do you do? Copy and paste or cut and paste. That's why you see that the last few rounds when I have my exam, okay, I think some of you know, it's handwritten, okay? My exam is handwritten. Okay, so make sure you're going to practice your handwriting. Okay, last time, the last few rounds, I have a hard time reading some of your handwriting. Okay, so but anyway, if you're going to have an open book exam, well, you better get ready to write fast. Okay. So business changing, they are all and they are basically, like I say, it's all about improving productivities. You have to learn how to write. When the O level, A level, they're all written exam, right? Isn't it? So we have tried a few rounds, no problem. So even if a closed book exam in the exam hall, you don't bring your laptop to type, right? You have to write it up. Okay, so you have to remember how to write. Okay, write means use your handwritten and not just literally copy, cut and paste. Otherwise, everything cut and paste, you'll find that my 2 hours paper actually half an hour is done deal already. Those students can just search the Google search, Uncle Google, and then can just cut and paste the answers. Isn't it? It's too easy. Okay, so be prepared for maybe a tricky exam paper. Right. So in your assignment 2, you also be talking about business model, right? So we'll also be looking at some of the business revenue models. Okay. So we'll be looking at the brokerage. Okay, what's a brokerage? Okay, so like middleman, like intermediary. So basically like a middleman who basically can trade using a middleman to do it, right? And also there's a direct model, which means you sell direct, just like Dell, right? Or there is something like the pure online, which is like Google, right? So these are, or they use those kind of companies that sell based on providing informations. Okay, it's just like search engine also, right? They get charged to be able to return some valuable informations or data traffic, as an example. So you'll be you are required to identify some of the or recommend some of the revenue model for the new businesses that you'll be setting up. Okay, which is your individual assignments later on, right? And you're going to highlight what is the value propositions. Okay, so value propositions such as the pain, identifying the pain of the customer, and how you can come up with a pain reliever to solve the pain of the customers, or you can look for the gains, the advantages of your products, and how you can create the gain, okay, for your consumers. Okay, so this is part and the value proposition. Or you can also use the business model canvas, okay, which is the 9 business component. Okay, later on we have one, okay, to talk about it. I think some of you have done this also, right? So, or you can also recommend the affiliate model, okay, business model, where you can engage another website to place your banner, okay, to allow them to place your banner over there because you know their website is very popular. You want to leverage on their data traffic or people to basically route over, to come over to your website as well, right? So you want to catch some of their website visitors, okay, to come over to your website. So that's some kind of affiliate marketing that you can actually adopt. Okay, so that will be some of the business model. We'll talk more about all this business model in the later part. Okay, so there are major components of business model, the value proposition, the various business model that you can go through using the study, the SWOT analysis, the strength, identifying the strength, the weaknesses, the opportunity, and the threat. Okay, so these are all something that you can evaluate your business model. Know your business, know your strength, know your weaknesses. Okay, that is an internal assessment. Then you have the external assessment. Okay, by looking at the external forces, your competitors. Okay, by looking at the opportunity that's actually available, okay, in the external market, right? So you do competitive marketers, right? And look at the available resources. What is your strength? What is your available resources based on your financial power and strength, etc. So some of the people actually uses this strategizer to basically help them to draw, okay, the value proposition. That's where just now I mentioned about the pain and the gain, and the pain reliever that you can come up with, or the gain creator that you can come up with. And there are also other canvases such as this. This is a gain creator, pain reliever, just now I mentioned. There's also the business model canvas. I think there are some here, okay, which is actually looking at the various revenue models. Okay, you can see these are the business model canvas. Okay, that and look at the analyze the 9 components that you have, the key partners, the key activities that you have, the kind of social marketing that you can adopt. Okay, so these are very important models, canvas that people use in the marketing areas. Okay, so we might use, we might not use. We're coming to the end soon. Okay, I hope. So we'll also be looking at some of the limitations of e-commerce. Okay, as much as we saw there is a lot of drivers for e-commerce, right? There's a lot of drivers for e-commerce. Everybody want to go online to do business. Everybody want to go online. The consumer want to buy things online. But there are also barriers, okay, that you should know, that you should understand, such as the ethical issues. Okay, what kind of business can you do online, right? So like if you want to set up an online gambling, okay, in Singapore, you'll be prosecuted, right? You will want to set up an online prostitute, right? Or online that sell some of the digital video like pornography website, pornography materials. You're also going to be prosecuted. So you need to know what are the businesses that you can set up online. Maybe you can set up a sugar daddy website so that some of the female students who in need of money, they can find some rich granddaddy or father to be accompanied with and pay a small token for befrienders, okay, for the companions, etc. But you got to check whether is it legal to set up those kind of business, okay, in that countries before you do it. So know the ethic, okay, know what is right. Of course, you also cannot sell drugs, right, online as well. Some students will sell online drugs. Okay, so you also cannot. So you have to be careful on some of the limitation and barriers that's been set up. Okay, and you must also be aware of the global competitions, that you can set up, and you also cannot set up anyhow. Like now you can see the China, right? Now the China are coming hard on some of these recent actresses, okay, where they use their influence to sell things online, okay, such as the what they call it, I forgot what's the word that they call it. Suddenly I forgot, right? The multi-level kind of marketing, okay, etc. So you have to be careful, right? Or coming up with MLM, yes, that was pyramid scheme, Ponzi, yes. So these are some things that you might need to be careful, right? It used to be legal and okay in China, but now you can see that China are coming out hard on all these kind of not the right way to do business, especially now China are looking at taxing more of the rich one, right? So even Jack Ma, my idol, right? Jack Ma used to be my idol, right? The Alibaba, the founders of Alibaba, right? But now you can see that he has toned down a lot. He's a good speaker, right? He got the charisma to talk and even influence people, right? The way he's built his own empire, right? But it has gone too big, right? Where the government, okay, are now looking at them. They say that, hey, you coming out with this Alipay, I can't track all the payments. Everybody is now taking loan from the Alipay, right? Making transactions using Alipay. Nobody is going to China commercial bank. Nobody is borrowing money from the government bank. Okay, they're all taking loan, taking financial borrowing, okay, from Alipay, right? If you look at Alipay, it's a very good concept. In China, everybody are more accustomed to using e-payment than using payment paper cash, right? So you can see that Alipay, WeChat Pay is very, very popular among the China. A lot of their payment is using e-payment mode, right? Unlike recently, only Singapore start to kicking, right? Singapore come out with the cash card payment, e-payment for a long time, but it never kick off. It's only recently then people are now embracing. But in China, it's already very popular and very pervasive. Everybody prefer that you pay me e-money instead of the physical cash. And then later on, Alibaba, Alipayment, right? They open up to other merchants and they say, hey, no need to borrow from the financial institute, the government financial institute or the financial banks. Hey, no need to borrow from the banks. Then borrow money from me because Alibaba, they have accumulate a lot of money, a lot of electronic money because a lot of people put their money in Alipay. Just like you put money in the GrabPay, isn't it? Where does the GrabPay go to? The GrabPay are holding all your pool of money, right? So all the money that you have is not in your bank, it's not in OCBC, UOB, it's with Grab. Okay, imagine the Grab money, okay, e-wallet that you have, it's actually with the Grab, right? So the same thing goes to Alipay, right? Alipay, WeChat Pay, they are holding all the money and they can use the money for for investment, for expansion for their companies, and they got lots of money, right? Because all this money are sitting there not using, just like GrabPay. If you never use your GrabPay, the $50 that you have in your GrabPay is sitting there, right, for the Grab to earn interest, for them to use, right? So you find that there's a pool of money that they have at any time when nobody is using, and no interest is being earned from you, okay, in any bank, they can actually use that money and lend it, okay, to the business people, okay, and then they can get more interest, right? So that's where it kind of, in China, it kind of get out of hand, okay, where the government start to realize that they can't control the money, right? The currencies, right? So they lose that power. So they are now coming back to say, hey, Okay, Alibaba, please, you need to take back. So that's why now they are taking back a lot of the control in some of these China big e-commerce giants, okay, such as Alibaba, such as Tencent, such as Tencent, such as Baidu. Yeah, you can see all these, the government is trying to take it back control so they can have a better control of their financial institute, okay? So they can control where's the money. And of course, now they're also looking at how they can actually kind of, when they say it in a nice way, that they kind of spread their wealth with the commoners as well. Right, the final slides. Okay, so the slides always end up with some managerial issues. Actually, these are all taken from the textbook. Okay, I just sample a few questions. So, like I said, these are just sample questions that might come up in the exam. Okay, so the question might not be the same, but the answer might be somewhat similar. Okay, so why is B2B e-commerce so essential and successful? Right? Why is B2B so important? Because it's easier to implement, okay, compared to B2C. Remember, B2C is business dealing with consumers, private individuals. But you will realize that B2B e-commerce is even more bigger and huge. This is business with another business entity, usually company and company, government and government. Okay, their value of transactions is huge, humongous. So there is a lot of volume, there's a lot of transactions, and it's easier to implement. Why is this easier to implement? Because companies and companies, they usually have a standard kind of a EDI, electronic data interchange. They have a standard format, and they don't stress too much on the UI. Whereas when you have applications, okay, that is involve individuals, the public individuals always got differences, different comments, different feedback, right? They will be more picky and there are more people that you need to please, okay, compared to just business entity. Business entity, as long as you work, the system work, it works, okay. I don't care so much about the UI, right? The GUI. So that's why in the B2B is even a bigger market, and everyone, okay, likes it. Example of B2B, like just now I mentioned, Alibaba, AliExpress, right, where you have a business dealing with a business, one company with another company. So it could be like Uniqlo, okay, or it could be like Cotton On. So they have another maybe China clothes manufacturing companies that basically supply them with all their clothing, their Uniqlo, their Cotton On kind of clothing. So these are companies to companies, right? Companies to companies, they have bulk purchases. Okay, they purchase big items, right? Example of business to business could also be HP. They buying what, photostatic machine, okay, from Canon, right? So the HP is such a big company, they could be buying a lot of equipment from Canon, from Sony, etc. Things that they never produce, but might be essential for their business operations. It could also be what, manufacturing companies buying raw materials from suppliers, right? Yes. Okay. So Apple don't usually buy parts from Samsung, right? So could be Samsung phone buying LCD panel from some LCD manufacturer. So usually could be a kind of a platform for a manufacturing company with a supplier, okay, with a range of suppliers to supply spare part, raw materials, inventory, stocks, all these things, right? It could also be retailers buying things from a warehouse. Okay, so basically, it's B2B is essentially a company to a company kind of business dealing. It can be anything. Which e-commerce model should I choose? Right, like we have seen a few business model earlier, but we'll see more later on. Right, like I say, the brokerage business model, the affiliate business model, then also the direct business model, okay, etc. So which model to pick? Of course, you should learn from all the various business model, their success story as well as their failures, okay, so that you can you can understand better. So usually not just one business model might suit you. You might also need to leverage on the different business model and choose the better one, okay, that can apply into your own business model, okay. So you could have a business model have both direct business marketing as well as having a partnership using affiliate marketing, right, as part of your business revenue model, okay, that you can build upon. How can we exploit social commerce? Okay, this again something is also very important. Nowadays, you set up an e-commerce store, you also have to set up your own loyalty program. You also need to form your own forum, your own interest group. That's where you leverage on the social network, right? So that you can understand from this interest group, this community, so that you can get some feedback about your product, about your services, right? You need to, and you can leverage on this social commerce to basically subtly advertise your products as well. So you need this network of people, right? And all these interest group or chat group, they can be a very important marketers for you, where this is where we talk about the spread of good words for you by the customer themselves, instead of using your salespeople, okay, to sell things or promote for you. So very important in most of the business right now, they will have some form of a network, social network groups, interest group, hobby groups, chat groups, etc. Okay, and there's use that as a source to get some feedback as well as to push some of their promotions or their latest product, or even to test out their new products. So that's why we need to exploit this social network, social commerce. What are the top challenges for e-commerce? Okay, just now we talked about that, right? Not just the ethical issues, the barriers that you need to watch out for, but also the kind of securities that you need to put in place, as well as the scalabilities, right? Can your website support large amount of transactions coming in? Especially like, for example, festive season, when you want to sell things, then suddenly there's a surge in amount of people coming onto your website. Are your system able to handle such multi-thread kind of consumptions or transactions coming in? Not big, small, huge amount during peak hours and also during off-peak period, right? You don't want to buy a lot of server and then end up a lot of times is idling. Okay, it's only certain time that's the peak period where there's a surge in usage. And when there's a surge in usage, you must make sure that your system can take it, can handle. Because nowadays, a lot of things people complain, right? 2-3 second response time, delay in website response time. People will just switch over, okay, to your competitors. Your competitors are just one click away, right? The moment they find that, hey, but to buy something or to serve something on your website, it takes like 4-5 seconds for your website to refresh. I can tell you a lot of people will not go to your website because the user experience is not there. They're not happy. It's too slow, right? And to complete a transaction, I must step through so many steps. Okay, I must go through like 10 steps, fill in so many forms before I can make a purchase. People will switch to your competitors' website and make the purchase there because it's more convenient. People are able to compare things. So very important, okay, you have a lot of competitors, external competitors all over the place, and you have to make sure that your e-commerce is not static. Okay, it's dynamic, it's interesting, it's catchy, right? It's able to hold the crowd, right? If your website always all year round, all every day is the same kind of promotion, same kind of product, very boring, no visual, no audio, no video, no animations, okay, cannot render your product 3D, cannot rotate your product, you'll find that people will not enjoy shopping on your website. So that's why in e-commerce, later on you find that you need to embrace a lot of technology such as augmented reality, virtual realities. Okay, all this you have to pack it in. You got to leverage on all the technologies, okay, which in the next chapter we'll talk a lot more, okay, about the upcoming Web 3.0, Web 4.0, and eventually Web 5.0. Okay, we have seen today Web 2.0, 3.0. Web 2.0 platform takes on the social media, okay? Take on the social media platform to embrace, to make the website more interactive, unlike Web 1.0, which is actually very static, very boring, just information giving. In Web 2.0, the technologies has up a level, so it make the website more interactive. And you will see later on in 3.0, 4.0, 5.0,